Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's session. We are going to begin with the attendance. When I call your name, just indicate that you're here. Shanley?
Present, Miss.
Iricha?
Here, Miss.
Shanice? Shanice is absent. Juana?
Here, Miss.
Tiana?
Present.
Daniel?
Present.
Vanetta?
Present, Miss.
Dominique?
Present.
Karen?
Here, Miss.
Keisha?
Here, Miss.
Martha?
Here, Miss.
Shanika? Zulmi?
Here.
Natasha?
Here.
Diona? Gabriel? Starla?
Here.
Jalen?
Here.
Annalie? Okay. The following persons are marked absent: Annalie, Gabriel, Diona. You have your hand up, Tiana?
Yes, ma'am. Shanika is joining. She's just having some internet issues. She's on her way from work.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Shanice.
ma'am.
All right. So Shanice, Diona, Gabriel, and Annalie. If you
Good night, Miss Arias, Shanice.
Oh, Shanice is here. You made it just in time, Shanice.
I just stepped in, Miss.
And
Yeah, Pamela again.
Okay, what about Diona? All right, she's not here. Any of her group members heard from her? So we are in our research week, and the research week is very different from the previous weeks that we've had in our 3-cycle process. Every first part of that cycle is theory, every second part is practical, and every third part is research. And that's where we are tonight. So in the first 2 phases of the cycle, we normally go over the lecture content. And those materials for each of your lectures, you will always be able to find on Moodle under the course material. So for Unit 1, you would have been able to find the interactive slides as well as the static slides, which has all the information that would have been in your course textbook. For those who did not want to purchase the textbook, Dr. Ryan made all of the content which would have been in the textbook available on Moodle. So if you didn't decide to purchase the textbook, you still have access to the material that is in the text. We also have the lecture notes. So these notes summarize the chapter as it would have been done in your La-Dene and La-Dene text. So chapter 1, we've gone through these discussion questions in class. At the end of every chapter, we normally go through the discussion questions, and you're able to answer those as a way of reviewing and ensuring that you understand the objectives for that particular chapter. So that's usually the theory week. And the same thing is there for Unit 2 as well. When we scroll down to Unit 2, you would have been able to view the same thing. You have your interactive slides, your static slides, as well as the lecture notes, which has all the content for chapter 2. And then, of course, you have the interactive slides with your key terms. The discussion questions are there to challenge you. If you're not able to answer these questions, go back to the lecture notes that are here, and you will be able to familiarize yourself with the content. We also have our assignments in the practical week. So practical projects are there for you to be able to use the skills that you learned from the theory week, use the knowledge and the content, and apply it to a particular scenario that you're given or a challenge that you're given to solve. All right, so that would have been the practical week. It's just application. And then the third part of that process is the research. So this is where we are. And in the research week, the first challenge you were given was to identify an organization that you wanted to research. And this research paper is different from your practical projects. You guys are aware of that. The practical projects are those assignments that we grade every second phase in the cycle. However, the research project becomes due at the end of the course. So it's two separate assignments. The research project is what we started working on when we had to identify an organization that you wanted to approach. And that organization had to have an information system. And you were challenged to contact the management of that organization just to get permission to interview them later on in the course. So we decided we're going to go step by step and work on the phases together. The second phase is what we're doing now. The second phase is the literature review. And right now, all you're trying to find out is how to write a literature review, how to conduct a literature review, and what are some of the models that are used to determine the success of an information system. So this is where we are in the course right now. You are given this document as a reading assignment, and your group is going to go through the document with a fine-tooth comb. And when we meet again on Tuesday, you'll be sharing with us in summary what you understood from the document and how you're going to apply it in your study or your research project. Is that clear?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, awesome. So this is just to make sure everybody's on the same page. I know we've been giving you quite a bit of work, and I just want to make sure nobody is getting confused. All right, so now that we've gotten our bearings, tonight we have a few objectives. We've done our Moodle walkthrough. Tonight I'll be giving you some feedback on practical project 2, and I'd like to see one of the groups at the end of the session. I'll let you know which one near the end of class time. We'll also be having a case study presentation. And then, of course, we'll be speaking a little bit more about how to conduct a literature review, and the rest of the time will be devoted to questions and answers. So let's begin with our case presenter for tonight.
Good night, Miss. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Good night, class. So my case study that I got was grocery war. Most of you might be thinking what exactly this is. So we're going to jump right into it. We are tackling Walmart versus Amazon. That is what this case study is about. So it is basically two huge marketing giants at play for the retail industry. Walmart has been steadily growing as they're a super giant in the in-store sales sector. They have always been trying to tap into the e-commerce system, which we all know Amazon has a strong hold on. So jumping into the Amazon side of it, this is where we see that Amazon, another super giant in the e-commerce market, is now trying to get a base for a physical location as well. So these two are tackling and trying to tap into the environment for each other and see where exactly it would go in terms of would Amazon take over or would Walmart take over as we go into the future. This case study was based in the year 2017 when Amazon announced that they were purchasing in an upscale food market chain that is called Whole Food for $13.7 billion. This came as a shock to the retailing industry because, as we all know, Walmart has a very, very strong hold in the physical presence here in the United States. For a while, Amazon, like this has been a thing where Amazon is encroaching on physical location while Walmart is trying to tap into that e-commerce section. Reality creating a competitive advantage over Walmart due to the larger network that can sustain both the online domain and the physical presence. The article elaborates that as of September 2017, Amazon Prime subscription had a massive 49 million members, which equate to about 44% of the household within the United States. However, as we get into this, we see that it is not only this Amazon versus Walmart situation that is going on based on the sales of groceries, because as we all know, grocery sales tend to increase over time, but not only that, we have been seeing a shift in what people are purchasing. So at one point in time, everyone would go out, buy groceries and come home and make their food. However, as of recently, we have been seeing that a lot of people are not purchasing as much groceries because they are working more. So they are buying food that are readily have already been made and prepared. This you could get from fitness coaches. However, there are a number of different companies who have gotten into this industry, such as Blue Apron, to name a few from the case study. They have what you call entered and increase the demand for this type of services based on what they have to offer. So each company offers something different. They would tend to create personalized food or what is specific to one's need. So it's not just about Amazon versus Walmart. This has also been a big thing in deciding what exactly would come out of groceries on a whole and the grocery market here in the United States. And of course, what would extend into the world beyond just the United States and Canada region that make up North America. Jumping into the case study question, case study number 1 had asked to analyze Walmart and Amazon. So here we see that as of June, as mentioned previously, as of June 2017, Amazon purchased Whole Food for $1.3 billion. And taking a look into this, we get to see that these are not just your everyday, like what we see in Belize, probably Saveview versus Brody's or something like that. These are very, very large industry playing for a very large amount of money that is on the table. The groceries, as mentioned before, Amazon wants to expand into the grocery section of physical location, while they keep their existing online entities such as Amazon Fresh or Amazon Prime membership and stuff like that. And also they want to maintain their strong hold on the e-commerce market. While on the flip side, we see that Walmart holds the largest physical retail network, not only in the United States, but in the entire world. And they are tapping into that e-commerce market, of course, to grow their brand. Groceries where Walmart really, really shines because of their massive amount of reaches from across the globe. Orders and pickup is available in over 2,000 stores. This is at the ending of 2018. Now, looking at the value chain for Walmart versus Amazon, we see that they're in the, for the Amazon section of it, the inbound logistics receives and they store raw material, and they try to maintain long-term contract. And on the flip side, Walmart tries to do the very same by creating strategic partnership. In terms of operation, we see that Amazon has operations in North America. They have an international arena as well as a Amazon Web Service. For Walmart, we have Walmart US, Walmart International, and Sam's Club. In their outbound logistics, they have, Amazon has fulfillment center, co-sort and outsourced arrangement in terms of what and how they choose to deliver, digital delivery, and as well physical stores, as mentioned in the case study, with the purchase of the whole food chain. We have Walmart outbound logistics that looks to improve the routing and load building to achieve cost decrease. That would help in terms of what they actually see in revenues, and it could as well determine what prices can look like in the store for Walmart and Sam's Club. The marketing strategic plan for Amazon is to spend more. They actually spend more for marketing than Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Home Depot, and Kroger's combined for their customer service in terms of how they present their items and stuff. Now, for those of you who don't know, Walmart have a very poor reputation when it comes to customer service, but this is an area that we tend to see them investing in as of lately to keep up with what Amazon is putting out there so that they could hold that competitive rate. In terms of services, we see that Amazon is actually exceptional in terms of customer service because the entire Amazon brand is based around making their customer feel satisfied. And for the customer service section on Amazon, like I said before, they intend to invest in that arena so that they could move on and get closer to what Amazon is actually doing. So when we look at the Porter's 5 model, which is a competitive force model, they are very, very similar for both companies. So in terms of competitive rival, for both, they have a high competitive rival because they offer a great number of retail because online retailers have grown tremendously over the years. Because they have grown tremendously over the years, we see that there are a lot of competitors. However, none at the scale of either Walmart or Amazon if we want to combine. In terms of the bargaining power for the suppliers, it is very low because both brands are very, they have a very large reach. And if you are a supplier, you cannot negotiate that much with them because of the amount of products that are services that they would be getting from you. So the suppliers tend to not be able to negotiate in that respect. For bargaining powers for the customers, we see that it is very low due to the amount of buyers that they have. So for both of them, they have very wide amount of people who are buying from them. So they tend to not, like, we as a customer can't necessarily change because of the wide variety of customers as well as the wide variety of product that they offer. Because of these different instances, we don't get to say, okay, we want to get this amount, get this product for this amount, because they would always say someone else would come and they could purchase it. So in that area, it is very low. Threats of new entrants is very high. As we all know, e-commerce is something that is on the rise with the growth of technology and information system. We can see a lot of new companies trying to enter into the e-commerce business. So that is very, very high. The only difference is in terms of the threat per se would be because it would take a lot of time, resources, and it would be very costly to try and tackle on any one of these two major brands. And the last one is the threat of substitute. So here is where we see a major difference. For Amazon, the threat of substitutions is very weak, mainly because while they offer a wide variety of goods and services, none of it is unique to the Amazon brand. So they get their items from other suppliers and then they resell them. While for Walmart, that is not the case. Walmart has a very unique set of prices as well as goods and services. So in that respect, you tend to not be able to compete against Walmart as opposed to Amazon. Moving on to the business strategy of Amazon and Walmart, we see that Amazon business strategy is based mainly around customer service and what they have to offer their customers. Still, Amazon holds a strong because of this customer service, this investment into customer service, we see that Amazon holds its customer base, and this is why we see from the case studies the amount of people who are subscribed to that network. Another business strategy is, as we see, they are trying to gain a physical location, as many as you could take to try and exceed what Walmart is doing and take over that market. Going on the flip side to Walmart, we see that Walmart wants to invest and focus on customer service, as well as improve groceries, offering a more wide range of organic products, enhanced flexibility of shopping, integrating physical stores and a digital business, which is the e-commerce section that we see them trying to tap in. As well as this, we see them selling more goods to customers who shop online, provide the best quality of goods at a low price, bring together stakeholders in their international organization, government, civil society, and industry. So now we ask the question, how does all of this come into an information system or an information course like the one we are currently enrolled in now? Here, what you see in front of you is a map showing the locations of Amazon Whole Food footprint versus Walmart. And a lot of this is why we have this tackle. So there is a very, very big difference in what we're seeing here, because Walmart is basically everywhere. There is very few places that Walmart is not compared to Amazon. And this is what is creating this bit of a challenge between both, because Walmart has a lot of physical presence and Amazon is mostly e-commerce. The information system and the grocery war at hand, we see that Amazon has direct sales for website, Amazon Prime, paid membership and subscription, e-readers that includes Kindle, ebooks, and mobile app, as well as services-oriented architecture-based information system, SOA, and of course, the very popular Alexa. While on the flip side, we see that Walmart offers Walmart to Walmart money transfer, Walmart money card, store pickup, Walmart Pay. They actually have self-checkout lines, and all of this comes into play based on the information system that drives each business. Because Amazon is web-based, we see that they are moving very fast ahead of Walmart and what they have to offer. For the purpose of this case study, I tried both the 2 hours grocery 2 hours grocery purchase versus the Amazon curbside pickup. And of course, Amazon had a more user-friendly and a more accurate timeline that they presented. While if you purchase from Walmart, more than likely when you get to your store location, you would have to wait for a very extended period of time that is not customer friendly, and the customer service, as mentioned before, very much begs for a lot. The final thing would be, who would win the war between Walmart and Amazon? From my perspective alone, I would have to say that I strongly believe that Amazon would win the war if they get a more physical location, mainly because they offer a lot in terms of e-commerce and the readiness of the availability of products. If you have an Amazon subscription, you can get your items delivered to you within 2 to 3 business days. Or if you do not have one, it does not take that long still. I believe there's like a wait time of probably a week for the standard shipping, but you could always opt to pay to get your package delivered just as fast. In terms of Walmart, during the pandemic, I saw that they actually did a lot more in terms of shipping, but after the pandemic, it depended on your location if they would actually ship items to you, or you would have to do a in-store pickup. And like I said, the in-store pickup is not necessarily the best route if you are working on a specific time frame. So based on that, while Walmart has a lot of physical presence, Amazon is more user-friendly, a better customer service base, and as well, they tend to offer more for not necessarily a cheaper price, but in terms of being more reliable in terms of time. This is just the end, almost the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, I am opening up to you so that I could try to answer whatever it is that you might be thinking. Thank you guys for your attention.
Okay, so Vanetta, while the class is thinking, how did you benefit from this research?
Specific limits, I did not know, like I really did not know that Amazon was actually trying to gain a physical presence. I remember reading one instance about a store, like they came out with this new thing that you could go into a store, you could purchase an item, but it would not be like you would have to stand in line and wait. You could just walk into the store, pick up an item, and you could walk out and it would automatically be billed to your account. However, I thought that it was something like a smaller arena, so not looking into groceries per se, but just having that availability to their customers based on the need that they see. So reading this actually made me realize that it's not just about the smaller items that you can pick up, but it's about everything. So your groceries, and they are very fast about it in terms of what they ship. So actually learning that this war was happening was an eye-opener, and you would say it put into perspective what exactly is at play in this current day and age.
Yes, I believe you're speaking about the Amazon Go, and they've tried it, they've tested it in Silicon Valley, and they've seen that it works there. They had a few glitches at first. For example, persons were charged for some items that they did put back on the shelf, but those were rectified. And do you see something like that working here in Belize?
I think it can. For another one of my class, I think it was Intro to Entrepreneurship. I actually made the recommendation at that specific time that a good startup business would be a delivery service. In terms of getting it was like in the pandemic when you had to get a vaccination to go into the store. So the basis would be for you to have people who would go out and gather your groceries and stuff for you. But in the event, like looking ahead, one of the things that I had talked about in that business plan was for the customer, not the customer, but us as a business, the one that we wanted to create, to hold a strong relationship with the businesses in the particular area that we would be offering the service, mainly because as you expand and you grow over time, people would take your ideas. So that was one of the risks that you would see, that maybe the grocery stores would then start their own delivery services and then they get to take that income. So in terms of that, it can work. I believe that it can, because while we were looking at it from an outside perspective, if you already have a business that offers groceries, then you could also have a business that offers delivery as well, and then have that delivery section, so it could be expanded into something more. So you get to tap into the delivery service, but also into the online sector as well. So I do believe that it is something that is worth looking into and can happen in Belize, especially now that we have a lot of people working from home. Sometimes you don't have the time to actually get out there and go and buy groceries or do simple everyday stuff for yourself, and having the capability of going online and selecting what you want and having it be delivered to your doorstep would be a tremendous thing.
Okay. Thank you, Vanessa. Now for the class, what are some of the takeaways that you got from her presentation? You guys didn't learn anything?
Miss,
Okay, Tiana, go ahead.
similar to what was surprising to Miss Vonetta was about the online, the based center for Amazon. I had no idea that they wanted to do a physical location, because I know everything they do from online, and like what she mentioned, they have a wide base of e-commerce advantage over Amazon. But that was something new, and the numbers, the locations for a while using, and then the benefits of MIS. If Amazon, and I agree with her, if Amazon is to have a physical location, they already have a wide-based e-commerce system using technology and stuff like that, doing online banking, online purchasing. So if they would have a physical store, it would benefit them as well.
Thank you, Tiana. Anybody else?
Miss, something that stood out to me was how you could do the checkout at the Amazon physical store without having to pay cash, because it's billed directly to your account. And so that stood out to me, because it just shows how technology can save you a lot of time from carrying around cash, waiting in long lines to make payments for your groceries or goods or anything that you go to purchase at the store.
Thank you, Annalie. I believe Gabriel wanted to share as well.
I just wanted to say I agreed with her when she said that Amazon would have won the competition, the verses, because I believe Amazon spread out to a wider population and it brings more people. Because meanwhile, Walmart does mainly based the states, and maybe you'll find the early part of Mexico or certain spots you'll find some limit in one, but when it comes to Amazon, they spread to a wider range. So you'll say the customer base would be far more compared to Walmart.
Okay. Thank you, Gabriel. So are we seeing any similarities to this here in Belize? For example, let's look at the DigiWallet. How does this compare to what Amazon is doing and Walmart in the US? How does DigiWallet compare in Belize?
Miss, I'm not really familiar with DigiWallet, but I know about the NBP app or something like that for online services. And then I talk about the banks, and then with these banks, they have the e-cash systems. And to me, those are similar to that of what Amazon have, but not necessarily to purchase items, but in terms of making payments online and using technology at large.
Those are some very good examples, Tiana. Can you think of any other examples, class, of how we're moving towards a more digital way of doing transactions in Belize? And my last question,
Miss,
go ahead.
just like what Miss Tiana said with the scan and go, because with the same e-wallets, all you have to do is pull up your QR code and the person can scan it and the payment is taken from your account immediately from the DigiWallet or the NBB Pay and eCash.
All right. So although we might not be able to use some of these outside of Belize, we realize that we're adopting some of the technologies or the practices that we're seeing globally right here locally. And it makes our life a little bit easier. For your safety, it might be better not to always have a bunch of cash on you. So having the contactless cards for payment makes you able to do your transactions day to day and still be able to move around. Of course, the adoption of these technologies aren't in every industry and every amenity that we use. However, they are being used more and more by many of our grocery stores and some of our service providers, right?
One that came to my mind was the new tax system that they're using. They're changing it to the iris, because before, you know, everybody, like the 15th and ending of the month tax time, you'd see long lines in the in Belize tax service, but now they're doing online transactions and online payments, which goes back to the same thing that you're saying, that it's more safer because then you're not carrying a lot of cash, because some people actually go there to pay in cash. So that's what came to my mind.
That's a very good example. I'm glad you mentioned that one. And even the Belize Companies Registry, I believe I saw a memo from them recently. They're now doing all their transactions online. So you make your appointments online, you submit your documents online. So they're limiting some of those physical interactions. It saves the client money because you can do your business from wherever you are, register your company, and still have your business going without you missing time from work, etc. So we are seeing some changes in Belize. So my last question, are any of you involved in e-business at this point, whether you work for somebody or you own your own e-business company? Right? Nobody's involved in e-business? Do you know persons that are involved in e-business at this time?
I have a couple of friends, Miss.
Okay. After listening to Vanetta's presentation, can you see anything from what she shared being applicable to what they're doing in e-business at this time?
Sorry, Miss, can you repeat the question?
Okay, so we're comparing what our friends who work in e-business does to what Vanetta shared in her presentation. Do we see any relationships, any linkages between what was shared and what your friends are actually doing with their businesses online?
I would say the customer service section, Miss. Normally that are like the biggest and the best thing to tackle. That and marketing, making your customers happy and doing great marketing can help your business. So for me, I tend to see that my friends that own business, they would share a lot, like in terms of the product or the services that they're providing. They tend to share a lot on Facebook or Instagram, and they try to remedy any situation that might come on hand to make the customer happy.
Okay, thank you, Vanetta. All right, so before we continue, I wanted to hear briefly from the group leaders how you guys are getting along with your research project. So there are 4 groups. Let's start with group 1. You guys can just quickly share. Okay, Daniel.
Yes, mom.
Yes, tell us how your group is progressing with the research project.
Hi, Miss. So with my group, it's like we all have different ideas, but we haven't settled on one yet. We're agreed with one, so we're still at that stage. We haven't progressed from that as yet.
You have already settled on an organization that you'd like to study.
That is the problem right there.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're gonna figure it out as ASAP. I would say by this weekend right here, and then we can currently move forward.
Okay, you need to agree on that very, very soon. All right,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you, Daniel. I know Martha spoke to me already, but Martha, can you just share with the class how you guys are progressing?
Good night. My group, we've opened a Google Doc, so it's easier for us to be able to, well, not really communicate, but just share whatever information that we have gathered, and then along with the group chat that we have, so that we can just put everything together from there between the group chat and the Google Doc. And we have selected an organization already, so we're working on that as well.
All right, Jalen.
Yes, Miss. Well, we have already contacted our organization. I was going to ask tonight, like, cause they had they asked for me to send like a copy of the questionnaire, and they had like questions about it. So after the class, I was going to ask if I could ask the questions that they had. But we're already about to collect the question. I mean the responses to the questionnaire.
Okay. You can show them the template that's there just so they have an idea. But right now we'd like to focus on the literature review before we move on to anything else, okay? All right, Tidicha?
Yes, miss. Well, my group members and I already decided on an organization to do.
one of my group members actually works at the organization, so she will be putting out the questionnaires, and then we will be just writing down and fixing up the information that we get after that, and just doing more research on the topic and so on.
Thank you. So I have an activity that I'd like you guys to do, and I'm placing you in random groups for this one. So you might not be in the same major project groups, but the room that you're assigned to is the same number. And what you'll be asked to do is to sort the calendars in a way that can help tell time. Now, I'd like to see which group can finish in under 10 minutes. And we're going to be using this as a team building activity, but it's also to help us to wrap up the unit that we're currently studying. So I'm sharing the link to this document in the chat, just a minute. And then I will break you into your groups so that you can fill it out. Welcome back, everyone. So we're wrapping up our session, and we're wrapping up Unit 2 as well. And this unit looked at business processes, which was the set of logically related tasks and behaviors that organizations develop over time. And these produce specific outcomes, and they're the unique way in which activities are organized as well as coordinated. A while ago, you were given a challenge to represent time using the calendar activity. And I'd like to hear from the groups quickly. So room 1, just share your screen and show us what you had, and quickly tell us the steps you took to organize the time. The other rooms can get ready to share after room 1. So room 1 had Gabriel, Juana, Natasha. All right, they're getting ready.
Okay, Miss, as you can see, it's not completely finished. We're trying to do it in the analog way. I wanted to do the color coding, but I will not lie, we sort of run out of time because we were coming up with different ideas of what to do. One group member mentioned that we should set them up in based on the colors, but it wasn't in the clock form. It was just setting them up, just going horizontally or vertically, whichever one. And well, I thought about the clock because I feel like that's something that we use on a daily basis. I mean, yes, I know we have the digital watches and stuff like that, but most people, you know, especially working people, when it's coming for 5, you're really looking at that clock because you're ready to get out the door. That's my thought process for this.
All right, thank you, room 1, and very good presentation. Let's see what room 2 was able to come up with. Now, your representation might look very different, but we'd like to see the steps that you took, right? Room 2, Daniel, Diona, Dominic, Karen, Martha. Okay, tell us the steps that you took to organize the time.
Hi. So with our group, we looked more at the date than the time. So we were trying to figure out the months itself based on the days. So we were looking at the calendar itself. We were only able to get to April when time ran out on us.
Okay, good job, guys. Room 3, Annalie, Jalen, Shanley, and Zulmi.
So first, what we did was we realized that there are 12 calendars. So the first thing that came to mind that it was January through to December. So we choose one because we know January has 31 days. And then we went along and made it flow, because as you see, February ends on Friday, then March has to start on Saturday, and we went along and we completed the entire calendar. Jalen, can you go on slide 3? Yeah, we have all the explanation here on the steps that we took.
Thank you. All right, and so they first found February, and I guess that's what they use as their bearings to find the other months. Good strategy. Last room, room number 4, Keisha, Shanika, Tiana, and Vanetta.
Miss,
Yes, go ahead.
what we were doing is that we were since today is the 22nd, we were identifying all the 22nds we could have found, trying to match it on a very same Thursday. But we weren't too successful. And then we had decided to I had suggested to the group to just put the boxes in the shape of a actual time, like around 4 o'clock or so, but that wasn't successful either. But that was some of the ideas we had, and using color code as well.
All right. So everybody used a different strategy, and this is what I wanted you to do in our activity today. We have been looking at business processes, and business processes involves collaboration, sharing of information. It involves steps to complete tasks and several different processes. Now, this is not our typical business process, but I wanted to use this as an illustration just to close out our chapter and summarize some of the main things that we've been looking at. When you look at business processes, you must have collaboration throughout an organization. Each of your groups had a leader, whether that leader was given the name leader or they just took charge, that person was representing our top management. Then you had everybody else working at different levels of management in your little teams just now, just to make the task successful. Whether or not you were able to figure out the calendar activity was not the goal, but the goal was just to show how you use tools like conference tools like Zoom to facilitate your meeting. Use collaboration tools. For example, even Google Slides is a tool that you use from the Google Suite for you to be able to interact and facilitate the actual work that you were preparing for this presentation. And then, of course, you were able to share it with the rest of us using the same presentation software. So we were able to put some of those techniques into practice. When you look at business processes, you also think of all the departments within an organization and how they work together. So I'm hoping that this little illustration, this little activity will help you to remember just the idea of what a business process is. It's a set of logically related tasks as well as behaviors that organizations develop over time. And I use the calendar and the clock to represent time. So you'll keep that in mind. And this is to produce specific outcomes and the unique ways in which activities are organized as well as coordinated. So those are the key objectives. So the last thing I'd like to do tonight before I dismiss you is to just give you some feedback on your practical project 2 assignment. I saw some really excellent presentations and very good effort from everyone. But some of you went down, and I am still going to add your grades to Moodle if you don't see it as yet. I have my rubric, and I usually grade it in my rubric first, and then I add the grades after on Moodle. But some of you went down in the following areas. The business functions might not have been clearly stated or explicitly identified. And so if that wasn't clearly seen or stated, then you would have lost marks there. Another area where I noticed persons may have gone down in is the section on suggesting the information system and providing data for managers to make better decisions for the system design. Some persons mentioned the current information system, but you didn't suggest how you would improve the system. And if you couldn't find any faults with it, you didn't suggest, you didn't even state what type of information system was being used. So if you weren't able to identify the classification of information system, it says to me that either you're not quite familiar with the content and you're not sure how to classify an information system. And if you couldn't find faults with it, but didn't try to suggest anything, it shows that you're still not 100% understanding that aspect of it. So there are cases where persons responded based on the system they have. We can't find any way of improving this one right now because the system is working, it's not broken. But they were able to say in the future, these are some things that should be considered. So when you're responding, keep those in mind. Those are the 2 areas that I saw persons go down in: the business functions as well as classifying the type of information system and your proposal. If you weren't able to make a proposal, you should have at least been able to classify the type of information system. All right. So that is it for tonight. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. And I will see you on Tuesday.
Bye, Miss.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night, Miss.
Good night, Miss.
Yeah, Miss.